Namaskar children. We have discussed the structure and functions of various parts of the human eye and also the defects of vision. We did a few numericals on the same in the previous classes. We are now over with the first half of the chapter, that is the human eye. Now we are going to start with the second half of the chapter, that is the colorful world.
So let us start with the refraction of light through a prism. This is what a prism looks like. It's a three-dimensional structure with two triangular faces and three rectangular faces. This is an equilateral prism, so it has the angle of prism as 60 degree.
So let us trace the path of light through a glass prism. This triangle here is representing the prism and this is representing the incident ray of light. Now this is striking this face of the prism at an angle of incidence which we can mark by dropping a normal on this face. So this is a normal on this face, this is 90 degree here. So this will be the angle of incidence. Now since the ray of light is going from a rarer medium to a denser medium, from air to glass, the light is going to bend towards the normal. So this is the normal, this is the incident ray, it will bend towards the normal. So something like this. This is the refracted ray and this is the angle of refraction. Now again, after traveling through glass, which is a denser medium, light is again going to move out to a rarer medium, that is air again. So we will drop a normal on the second interface as well. So this is the normal on the second face. And light is going to bend away from this normal. So this is the path followed by light. And this is the angle between the normal and the emergent ray. So this is the angle of emergence here. Now unlike the glass slab, you can see clearly, in this case the incident ray and the emergent ray, they are not parallel to each other, which was the case in case of a glass slab. Whereas in this case, if I produce forward the incident ray, this was the path of light. If the prism was not there, the light would have gone straight. So this is the produced forward incident ray and this is the produced backward emergent ray. I again repeat, ये path of light है, अगर prism ना होता तो ऐसे चली जाती light सीधा. And ये path of light है due to the presence of the prism. Light has bent. So the angle between the incident ray produced forward and the emergent ray produced backwards is known as the angle of deviation. ये symbol है. This is the symbol for angle of deviation. It is the angle between the path which light would have followed when the prism was not there and the path which light has actually followed. प्रिज्म ना होता तो लाइट ऐसे जाती, प्रिज्म है तो लाइट यहाँ से गई है, तो इन दोनों के बीच का एंगल इज एंगल ऑफ डेविएशन. दिस इज द सिंबल डेल्टा, एंगल ऑफ डेविएशन. So these are the three main angles, in fact 4 main angles, which you should be able to label in the diagram for tracing the path of a ray of light through a prism. The angle of incidence, normal और incident ray के बीच में, angle of refraction, refracted ray और normal के बीच में, the angle of emergence, emergent ray और normal के बीच में, and the angle of deviation, that is the angle between the incident ray produced forward and the emergent ray produced backward. That means जो expected path था light का जहाँ वो जाती without the prism और जो actual path है light का जहाँ वो गई due to the prism, उनके बीच का एंगल इज एंगल ऑफ डेविएशन. कितना डेविएट हुई है लाइट अपने एक्चुअल डायरेक्शन से, दैट इज द एंगल ऑफ डेविएशन. ऑल्सो सिंस वी विल बी कंसिडरिंग इक्विलेटरल प्रिज्म्स, equilateral in the sense that all these three angles would be equal. So you may also label the angle of prism. This is known as the angle of prism. Symbol is capital A, angle of prism. So this is the complete labeled diagram for a ray of light passing through a glass prism. Now remember, this is the diagram for the path of a ray of light passing through a glass prism. What if you are specified that this is white light incident on the prism? Remember the difference between the two statements? This is the diagram to show the path of a single ray of light through a glass prism. If I am asked to draw the path of light, to be specific, white light through a glass prism, it won't be the case. You will have to draw the diagram which you have already done in class 8th, that is dispersion of light. Next topic that we are going to discuss is dispersion of light by prism. What do we mean by dispersion? It's the splitting up of white light into 7 colors when passed through a transparent medium like glass prism. So in case of dispersion of light, or when white light is incident on the prism, or we may also mention this as sunlight. So as white light strikes obliquely on this prism surface, this is the path which was being followed by light if the prism was not there. But since the prism is there, and this time we have an incident light which is made up of 7 colors. This is something we already know. So this combination of 7 colors, when strikes the prism, we observe that it splits into its component colors. Seven component colors, and when these 7 colors will move out of this denser medium to this rarer medium, they again bend away from the normal, and we obtain a band of these 7 colors on a screen placed next to the prism. You will have to show the bending in this manner only. When the light is entering the rarer to the denser medium, it will bend towards the normal, and when it goes out of this denser medium to the rarer medium, it should be seen bending away from the normal. You will be marking the directions as well. Any ray diagram is incomplete without labeling the direction of the light. And these are the emergent rays, emerging 7 colors. And here we can draw the screen where we get the band of these 7 colors as VIBGYOR. I hope you remember. You've already done this in your previous class. So VIBGYOR: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. In this sequence you will obtain this band of 7 colors. Remember from Snell's law that the refractive index of a medium depends on the color of the incident light. So you can clearly see here that since the incident light is containing all these 7 colors, different 7 colors, different wavelengths, they have a different bending. This glass prism has a different refractive index for different colors. Red is bending the least and violet is bending the most. We had done this as the Snell's law also. I again repeat that the refractive index of a media depends on the incident light's color or wavelength. So different wavelengths, different colors have different bending, different refractive index. The same prism is behaving differently for different colors. And this is the reason why white light splits when it enters a glass prism. This is a one marker which is usually asked, that why does white light split into its constituent colors when it enters a glass prism? So your answer would be because different colors have different refractive indices, different bending. Okay, so that is why it is splitting it into these 7 colors. Also, in addition to this, you are asked that why don't you observe this spectrum in a glass slab? Remember, we had drawn the ray diagram for a glass slab also, in which we had shown the incident ray striking the glass slab, then it is bending towards the normal due to refraction, and then again away from the normal. There was no splitting of white light here. The reason being recombination of white light. That is what we are going to discuss next. Sir Isaac Newton was the one who observed the splitting of white light into the 7 colors through a prism. He was the first one to observe spectrum of white light. He wanted to know if these colors split up further. So he placed another prism next to the first prism in an inverted position. Now what he observed was that when the white light strikes the first prism, it splits into its constituent colors, those 7 colors. I am not drawing all the colors here because otherwise the diagram is going to get very congested. So this is the white light, and these are the top and the bottommost color that I have represented here. So that means the top one here is representing the red and the bottommost one is representing the violet. Now when this spectrum moves out of the glass prism and it strikes the second prism placed in an inverted position, what he observed was that these 7 colors recombined to form white light again. So the incident light was white light, and he observed from the first prism the light is splitting up into 7 colors. Again I am repeating, I have not drawn all the 7 colors because otherwise the diagram will not look very clear. So I have only shown the topmost and the bottommost color here, red and violet. And when these 7 colors strike the inverted prism placed next to the first prism, it is observed that these 7 colors recombine and they give out white light again. So this is known as the recombination of white light. The white light is formed after the recombination of these 7 colors. So this is simply a reverse ray diagram of the first prism diagram. Also you will here have to be careful that this incident white light and this emergent white light, they should look parallel. Okay, be careful when you draw the diagram. This incident white light here and the emergent white light here, they should look parallel. Now focusing on this diagram, if I would not have shown this gap in between these two inverted prisms, it would have looked something like this. And this is what I want you to focus on. This is somewhat like a glass slab. And here is the answer to the question that why don't we see a spectrum being produced by a glass slab, since it is a combination of 2 prisms in an inverted position. Or you may simply give the answer as that since all the faces of a glass slab are parallel to each other, we don't get a spectrum, we get the recombined white light again. In case of a prism, you can see the sides are at an angle to each other, whereas in case of a glass slab, the sides are parallel to each other. So that is another reason, another way of stating that why don't we get a spectrum from a glass slab.
So if we are asked the definition of recombination of light, we'll write that when white light is passed through a prism, dispersion of light occurs, and when another prism is kept inverted, the dispersed light which was formed will get back to white light. This is recombination of white light.
So we are going to now discuss the formation of a natural spectrum in the sky that appears after a rain shower. Not every time, but it appears only after a rain shower. That is the rainbow. So let this sphere here represent the droplet, and this is the incident sunlight. Remember, for viewing a rainbow, 2 basic conditions are required. 1, there has to be suspended moisture in the atmosphere, and second, the sun has to be behind you. It's only then you see a rainbow in front. You won't see the rainbow in the direction of the sun. It would be always opposite to that of the sun. So this is the sunlight falling on this water droplet. So the first phenomena that takes place at the first interface is the refraction, bending, dispersion. So light has split up into 7 colors. I am not drawing all the 7 colors so that the diagram can be understood. So only the topmost red and the bottommost violet. Once the light has split into 7 colors, after it reaches the second surface of this water droplet, these colors get internally reflected. So from the back surface of the drop, these 7 colors will get internally reflected and they will enter the observer's eye over here. Remember, again, observer is having the sun on the back side. The sun is behind the observer and rainbow will be seen in front. So from each droplet, the 7 colors are emerging out. This lower one is the red and this upper ray that is coming is violet. But remember, the rainbow that we see in the sky, we see red on top. Reason being, from each droplet, the 7 colors that are coming out, all 7 colors from the same droplet are not entering the observer's eye. In the portion of atmosphere in front of the observer, there will be a section of droplets from which red color is entering the eye. From the next section, the yellow color will be entering the eye. From the next section, the orange will be entering, and so on. VIBGYOR will be entering the observer's eye from different sections of droplets in front of the observer. हर ड्रॉप से निकलते हुए 7 कलर्स सारे के सारे एज इट इज़ ऑब्जर्वर की आई में नहीं आते. एक हाइट पे जो ड्रॉप्स हैं उनमें से सिर्फ रेड कलर आ रहा है. नेक्स्ट हाइट में से जो ड्रॉप्स हैं उनमें से सिर्फ येलो आएगा. नेक्स्ट हाइट में से जो ड्रॉप्स हैं उनमें से ऑरेंज आएगा, एंड सो ऑन टिल वायलेट.
This animation can help you understand what I am saying. You can see here red is bending at 42 degree from the incident light and violet is bending at 40 degree from the incident light. So red color will come from the highest water drops. Highest drop में से जो 7 colors आ रहे हैं उनमें से red color will enter the observer's eye. Whereas जो violet light है that is coming from the lowest water droplets, which is bent at 40 degree. Now if you are asked in exam, you are not going to give so much of detail. You will simply draw the ray diagram properly, labeling everything. You will write that rainbow appears after rain, as there are many tiny droplets of water still in the air. When sunlight falls on these droplets, they behave like tiny prisms. And then you will state the 4 steps of formation of rainbow. First is refraction, then dispersion, then internal reflection, and finally again refraction and entering the observer's eye. So now I will be leaving you with a question for which you have to look for the answer. If in this prism you can see, if green laser light is incident, it appears to be orange inside the prism. Can you think of the reason why?